We have a massive weather pattern shift that's about to happen, everybody. This is bringing cooler temperatures to people, but it's also bringing a lot of heat to other people as well, and is bringing this severe weather right around this ridge. So we have these ridge riders that's still happening. Now, right now, we have our severe weather bringing storms over here towards the Midwest, heavy rainfall as well, and this is going to heighten up for today. Chances for tornadoes, but mostly going to be a damage and wind threat. Also for tomorrow. And our tropics as well. Over here in the Pacific, we have PTC-1 that's going to bring tropical storm impacts over towards Hawaii. Matter of fact, showing a strengthening tropical storm. These are hurricane force wind gusts in the pink. So the southern islands for Hawaii is going to get hit the hardest with winds and heavy rainfall. Plus what's happening into the Atlantic. We have two invests. We have Invest 92L, still showing this is going to be Dolly forming. Short-lived more than likely because of the dry air going to a more unconducive environment. And you see with the ensemble is more likely going into the Eastern Pacific shortly after. We're still showing a few that can go towards the west, northwest, maybe last minute formation still. So I'm still watching that. But we have Invest 94L over here. This one's more likely going to become that tropical storm, become that hurricane going into the Atlantic. So starting off in the Pacific, you can see with PTC-1 in 48 hours, more than likely where it's going to be. And as it goes in between 48 hours and 72 hours is where it's going right by the southern islands. Still showing the intensity, more than likely will be a tropical storm, and we're starting to see chances for a low-grade hurricane at the last moment as it strengthens past the island. Remember, the impacts go way further than the cone. Then showing it could strengthen later on as it moves away from Hawaii. And you also see chances for tropical storm impacts. You have from that 60 to that 70% chance of getting sustained winds at least 39 miles per hour. Showing your wind gusts could be pretty extraordinary. Showing it could go all the way towards that 70, 80 miles per hour wind gusts. Maybe even get that 90 or that 100 for the southern islands. And showing a lot of flooding is going to be your biggest threat still over here for the northern and central islands, all the way up towards 4, 5, maybe even 7 or 8 inches in the higher elevations. But over here for the southern islands, this is where it really adds up towards a foot plus. Showing the wave height is going to grow as you come Friday into Saturday, showing chances for over 20-foot waves across the southern islands, anywhere from 10 to 12-foot waves on the eastern side and southern side of the central and northern islands. Could get even higher towards that 14 to 16-foot waves. The biggest hit is the southern island. In fact, while recording this video, Tropical Storm Layla has formed, and a hurricane watch is out for the southern island, showing not only the impacts I showed you, also storm surge impacts from 1 to 3 feet for the southern island, 1 to 2 feet for the rest of the islands. And what's happening in the Atlantic, you see Invest 92L. It's at 80% in 48 hours, 80% in 7 days. And still showing it will go further west as it becomes maybe that tropical depression, that tropical storm status for Dolly. But then it gets hit with all this here because it's El Nino weather pattern. Still, people in the Lesser Antilles, even over here for Puerto Rico and British Virgin Islands, pay attention. This is bringing rainfall and some winds. And I know this is well-needed rainfall. Just be aware of the flooding. And Invest 94L, 30% in the next 48 hours, 50% in the next 7 days. Showing also this one's going to be a good chance for a tropical depression to form a little bit later down the road. Showing that if we get Dolly on the first one, the short-lived system, the second one would be Edward. Showing on Invest 92L as it goes past 4 days towards 96 hours is going right past the Lesser Antilles. And this is where it's more likely going to spread out and weaken down and go away. Some are showing it could take that northward path. I will keep you updated. If this does come to fruition, we still have that possibility of that late formation. And Invest 94L is a little different. It's taking that northward track, feeling that tug from that high pressure, another trough coming through, breaking that opening, showing maybe all the way until 7 days before it passes over the northern Lesser Antilles. Intensity miles shows that Invest 92L, the first one, could go towards the Lesser Antilles still as a tropical storm, bringing tropical storm impacts, then weaken down towards a tropical depression because of the dry air and the shear as it moves through the Caribbean. Now, there's a few that show it could strengthen up as it goes further on that north-northwest track afterwards. And Invest 94L, showing chances for this to become a tropical storm as it goes further past 5 or 6 days. That's why confidence is higher. And some show it could even strengthen and go all the way towards that tropical storm trying to become a hurricane. So when you look at your upper level winds, you can see we still have the high pressure that's directing traffic further towards the west. But if you watch over here along the Gulf in the southeast, as we're getting this big ridge of heat building, is going to bring that big high pressure as well. So these tropical waves are going to move further towards the west, then it's going to get grabbed by this high pressure, swinging everything further around. You can see this in chances for a tropical depression, showing it going towards the Lesser Antilles on Invest 92L. Invest 94L still taking that west-northwest track, still is going towards unfavorable environment once you go past 7 days and no formations expected still afterwards. Now you can see this in the latest ensembles. You can see this with the Euro, showing that going in and out on Invest 92L, but eventually weakened down as it goes further towards the west. Only one ensemble is showing it's holding on to that tropical depression status. While we get that second one coming through, Invest 94L, going towards that west-northwest. Now GFS is showing a little bit something different. You can see that first tropical wave, Invest 92, the second one, Invest 94. As it goes further towards the west, Invest 94L weakens down as well. But then it shows this weather pattern brings that high pressure revolving into the Gulf later, and it could bring something further into the Gulf as we go into a later weather pattern. As we get another tropical wave potentially coming off the coast of Africa as we go 8 days away. So it's still down the road. Showing more likely we'll see that 1 and 2 inches of rainfall. This is going to be well needed rainfall. 1 inches in the yellow, 2 inches in the red. And a pocket of winds showing 40 up to 50 miles per hour wind gusts coming between these two storms. Plus the weather pattern coming, still showing we have this positive EPO coming all the way towards the 23rd, maybe a little bit longer before we go through the weather pattern change. Still showing we have the extreme heat building from this ridge that's blocking the Gulf from any of these tropical waves and is bringing all this heat all the way across the central, the south, and the southeast with a rapid onset drought in all of this orange. So be aware of the drought risk. Showing you're still in a high risk from the 20th through the 21st during this transition for Texas, Louisiana, Oklahoma, Kansas, Arkansas, southern Missouri, Mississippi, Alabama, and the western Florida panhandle, while you still have the heat going across the southeast. Now, we're still going to have cooler temperatures overnight, but we're still having the reinforced heat come back every single day. So this is for Sunday morning. And you can see through Sunday evening, the heat comes right back, even the 100 to 110 degrees. And you stay in the 70s across the Great Lakes out through the northeast with a very strong heat index as well, where you're going to feel like over 105 to 110 degree temperatures. Now, as you go overnight Sunday into Monday, you can see the cooler temperatures still coming through, but it's bringing that heat every single day. And the heat indices, which is going to be the strongest part of this transition. Overnight Monday into Tuesday, now even bringing possibly some 40s towards New England. But remember, the heat is coming back every single day. You will be in the 70s. That's in the cooler air. And your heat indices for Tuesday. And still showing as we go towards the end of August, this is transitioning. And then as we go into September, this is where it strengthens even more. This is your pressure anomaly. So we have below average pressure that's kicking in from the southwest, still across the southeast. This is where you're going to get a jet stream coming through like this and bring the storms across the west and across the east. Also, as you go through for October, we're going to stay in that weather pattern. And then for winter, still showing a strong November, December, and January. And this is where we have a lot of below average pressure coming through. This is where we have a lot of troughs coming from the southwest, going up like this, bringing a lot of storms into this pattern. And still showing as we go towards the fall and winter season, as we go from October, our temperatures still El Nino, above average to the north, but average to below average in the south. And that still strengthens as we go through for November, December, and January. Just still showing we have the chance for that southern ice and snow for this winter. And still showing this is what you can expect. So as we go through the end of August into September, we're going to see that trough coming through, bring in the cooler temperatures and bring in the storms. Also, as we go through for October, we're going to stay in this weather pattern, but it's going to be a little bit deeper and stronger. But this could bring more heat back towards the southeast and across the southwest. Then when we go from October into November, this is where everything strengthens up. Above average precipitation, below average temperatures, below average pressure is bringing that southern storm track even deeper, bringing the chances for the snow and the ice as we go through from December, January, and February, seeing that strengthening southern snow pattern. So please pay attention. I know this heat in this summer has been really brutal, but it's about to suddenly change, everybody. And then when it changes, it's going to deepen as we go past fall into this winter. Power outages are still right below 500,000 homes without power. Right now, Illinois at 70,000, Indiana almost 250,000, Ohio at 78,000, and Kentucky at 17,000. Now, severe weather for today, there is a tornado threat. It's a small area, but you do have a threat. So far, here's your cities and states at risk for the tornado threat for today, showing it will still be a wind threat if anything. So here's your cities and states at risk for the wind threat for today, showing it could raise up over here across the central and the south central. So you can see as you go through the evening, these storms build up all the way from the Four Corners northward, all the way towards Colorado and Wyoming. We have these storms that builds up over here all the way through the evening from Iowa through northern Illinois, northern Indiana, into Ohio. Then we get a second round building up while we get strong storms not only for Utah and Nevada, also over here for Kansas and Colorado that goes into Nebraska. Now that's going to be late evening storms. Then for tomorrow, that's going to come across again and bring a smaller area, but still bring a tornado threat over towards northern Missouri into Iowa. While you get some storms across the eastern U.S., just a little isolated in nature, and across from the Four Corners and northward. Showing those are bringing high winds all the way from Utah and Nevada, where it's 50 and 60 miles per hour wind gusts. 60 is the red. Eastern Colorado going into Kansas. Also some of western Oklahoma. This is 50 and 60, 70 in the brown. And the strong winds from Iowa going to northern Illinois. 50 miles per hour wind gusts possible. So you can see this for tomorrow with our severe weather and the chances for the tornadoes on that threat that I showed you. So here's your cities in Iowa at risk for a potential tornado for tomorrow. But you do see it does linger into northern Missouri. And for the next 72 hours, bringing a good bit of rainfall over here for Wyoming, Idaho, also into North Dakota, Montana, and over here for Colorado, Nebraska, western Kansas, going across the Midwest and Ohio Valley, bringing that 1 and 2 inches plus, bringing anywhere from 3 to 4 over here for central and eastern Iowa into northern Illinois. So watch out for the flooding. And that is your latest update. So we're watching these tropical waves. There's more coming off the coast of Africa that we need to be aware of as we go through this portion of this season. So thank you for your time, everybody. Hope you have a very blessed day today, everybody. Make sure you hydrate for the heat if you're in the heat. If you're in the cooler temperatures, please don't tell nobody down below because people are getting hostile. Endure these hard times, everybody. They will be changing soon. Before I go, a quick word from our Father. Psalm 50, 14 and 15. Offer unto God thanksgiving and pay thy vows unto thy Most High. And call upon me in the day of trouble. I will deliver thee, and thou shalt glorify me. Amen. Remember, everybody, God is not a spare tire. He is a steering wheel. So always give thanks when he comes through and helps you. Do not forget about God. Remember, above all things, all glory does go to God, our Father in heaven, Yahweh. And I always hope he keeps you safe every single day of your life. And forever. Amen. Hallelujah. Amen. Have a great day, everybody. Endure the heat.